Onward, the latest creation from Pixar Animation Studios.
Yes, and what an unusual approach.
Right?
If you've read the premise for the film.
Yeah, let them know. What's it about, Mike? For those who don't know.
It's like two relatives, two kids, they're going to...
Elf brothers.
Two elf brothers are
Yes.
going to get magic. They finding out if there's magic left in the world so they can bring back their deceased dad.
That hasn't been done before.
No, and that's what I like, movies that have not been made.
Yeah, and it covers a topic that usually is not covered in kids' movies,
No.
but I think it's good because it teaches kids a lesson.
Pixar Animation Studios in Emeryville, historically the most Academy Award winning studio by ratio on the planet. If you think they're picture to wins, they seem to know what they're doing.
A little bit.
Would you say that they have a formula?
I'd say so. I think so.
Yeah, they do. They do. They have a start off unhappy and go on a journey to
happy.
reach happy.
Right.
Yeah,
And that's
happiness.
kind of what you get with this movie. The movie's set in a fantastical world where all of the fantasy
Unicorns.
creatures, unicorns, dwarfs, elves, such as the brothers, played by Tom
Pratt.
Holland and Chris Pratt. I sat down with Dan Scanlon, and you might say, where does Pixar get these ideas? Well, this was kind of born from Dan Scallion's real life and recent loss of a parent, and I sat down with the producer.
Kori Rae. Yes, she produced Incredibles and Monsters, Inc.
Exactly. We talked. Take a look.
I take great pride and kind of ownership in Pixar because it's in my backyard, so I consider it my movie studio, by the way.
Cool.
And this one does not disappoint. I've been there for almost every theatrical open ever of any Pixar movie since they put the first brick down. And I can tell you now, just move all of those Oscars down just a little bit because there's room for one more, and this will be it, I guarantee you.
Oh my
Wow,
gosh.
thank you.
Yeah.
So talk about the genesis. This story is so unique, and I love what was the very first moment that launched it.
Well, it's based on a personal story. Like the boys in the movie, my brother and I lost our dad when we were really, really young. We don't remember him at all, but we always wondered how we were like him. And that question began the journey that was Onward.
Exactly. It was just kind of talking about personal experiences, and Dan started talking about that part of his life and how he and his brother were affected by it and how it affected them throughout their life. And we thought, okay, there's something there. Because, in the best cases, a small personal story can also become a universal story.
Sure.
So that's what we were going for.
Yes, I lost my dad when I was younger and didn't remember that much, but then my older brothers, and there was a little bit of jealousy because they got to know him, and so I'm always looking at him, and so I so related in that, and then my sons are the same ages of these characters, and I'm thinking, how is it that I'm relating to all of these characters that are woven into this fantasy world like this so humanely?
Well, what's been interesting is people who don't necessarily have brothers or have or even sisters, people who have a friend who was there for them, or finding those connections amongst other people has been really cool.
Yeah, it's very gratifying.
You know, I walked out of the theater last night and started calling people, and I feel like I may have done it injustice because I'm going, I just saw it. It's such a great movie. They're going, we don't want to be heartbroken. I said, no, you don't understand. This movie is so hopeful. It kind of leaves you explaining. It explains the life passage and what it all means, doesn't it?
Right.
Yeah.
And it's also fun and funny. I mean, I think there's an adventure to be had throughout the movie, and hopefully people are laughing and having a good time too. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's got unicorns that are eating out of garbage cans, so hopefully it has something for everybody.
And these two nobodies that you get as leads in this Tom Holland, Chris Pratt, I think there's hope for them.
Yeah.
They've got chops.
They do. It was so fun working with them. They're, again, they're who you'd hope they'd be.
They are awesome. They got another hit on their hand with this movie, Onward. That's the producer-writer of the film. I'm always, anytime I'm in front of those guys, I think, I should pitch them their next film.
Yeah, right.
So, okay, you're in front of them right now. What would you
Right
pitch?
now? Oh, I got an incredible idea. So it's a car, right? The car's broken down.
Yeah.
The car's sad,
Yeah.
unhappy, not being used at all.
sad
Okay.
car,
Right.
Okay.
But by the end of it, what needs to happen is this car wants to enter the big race.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, right.
Like
Excuse
Herbie?
me, I'm down on the front row.
Herbie?
I know where you're going with this. Isn't that technically Cars, the movie they already made?
I missed it.
Oh,
I know.
Exactly, right.
What about there's an older guy and
Yeah.
a balloon and the house and he floats
What's
away?
the house? That's a great idea. Then I'm going to pitch them about a fish that can't remember anything, played by Ellen DeGeneres. There. All right, so I was so excited about this movie, and they said, do you want to sit down with Chris Pratt and Tom Holland? Because sometimes you don't get to talk to the biggest stars of the movie. In this case, we did.
Yeah, right. When you're that enthusiastic about a film, do you feel like walking in, you might embarrass yourself at all?
I kind of did. I pretty much walked in and started to sob and said, let's hug it out.
Oh man, at least you didn't say let's hug it out and then show me your foot fetish.
I don't have a foot fetish. That's
Did
a
you
dated-
not ask Tom Holland?
No, and by the
to
way, in case
show-
that's the most random thing. Now we have to show video of it.
Oh, yeah.
The first time I interviewed Tom Holland, he showed me what was only hours old, a tattoo that he had gotten on the bottom of his foot.
Exactly. Case in point. Case closed.
All right, stay on target. Stay on target. This time I had an agenda. I had something locked and loaded going into that room.
Aren't you friends with Chris Pratt's brother,
Yes,
Kori Pratt?
Okay.
exactly that. Kori
Good.
Pratt up in Northern California, Solano County Sheriff PIO. I had him locked on FaceTime to
Wow.
give nothing but love and attention to Tom Holland. Take a look.
Amazing.
Our first interview for the movie, right
Well, I
here.
haven't seen it yet,
Oh
so
my-
forgive me.
kind of pressure? It's your first interview. What if I screw things up?
No, you won't. You got this.
Okay.
I don't know. We'll
Guys.
see.
Just seeing the two of you together, I want to
Yes.
reach over and hug both of you.
Do it.
My son. Okay. All right.
Let's go.
All right. Here we go.
Get it in.
Here we go.
go.
Here we go, bud. And I'll tell you why. Because my sons are the exact same ages of these characters. Oh. And the relationship not too dissimilar.
That's so nice.
Nice.
That's amazing. I have a brother. You have brothers.
Yes.
This is a film very much about brotherhood, and it's really, really beautiful. And I think that anyone who has a brother, and even if you just have a sibling or in a relationship at all, but there's a specific relationship between brothers that this movie speaks to.
Yeah. And you've got like 50 brothers, don't you?
Yeah, I got a lot of them. Yeah.
Yeah. So did it, when you get the script dropped in your lap and you're thinking, not only do I want to do this, I get this guy.
It was interesting for me actually because I'm the oldest brother of all four of us, so it was quite nice for me to have an older brother. Like it was a bit of a change of pace for me to suddenly like switch from being the one who's supposed to know what's going on.
Yeah.
Which actually in many cases is not the case. My brother Harry is really kind of the oldest brother.
Oh, okay.
Without him, we're like his sheep and he is the shepherd. But it was nice to like flip this around and to actually be the younger brother for a change.
I loved it, and I agree. If you have brothers, sure, it's going to touch you that way, but I think if you have a pulse, this movie is going to make you laugh and cry relentlessly
thanks,
throughout.
Absolutely.
We
I'm
put it
so
out
excited
there.
to see it, man.
We said viewer questions, if you have any viewer questions. So we have this guy that
Oh, wow.
has a viewer
Oh, that's
question.
my brother.
Wait, go ahead. Go.
Hey.
Hold on, you blew the gag.
Oh.
Go ahead, sir.
Hey, oh my gosh, this is so exciting. Tom Holland, you are like my favorite Avenger. I'm just freaking out right now.
Is that actually your brother?
That's literally my brother.
And this is just the coolest thing in the world. That's Spider-Man. I can't believe... wait a minute, I thought that was Chris Hemsworth was your brother in the movie.
I was
Chris
hoping it was
Pratt.
Chris Hemsworth, but we got Chris Pratt instead, which is also
I was
good.
so excited because it was my two favorite Avengers, Spider-Man and Thor.
And Thor.
But I mean, it makes sense, you know.
This is amazing.
All right, the gag is blown. So now, since I have brother to brother, what's the best thing about your brother, Chris Pratt?
That he knows Tom Holland, right?
Easily
Wait, no.
Onward with Tom Holland. That's pretty awesome.
Way to stay on target. All right, say some good things about your brother. What do you
For
share?
me to say this, I'll say this movie, Kori, I cannot wait for you to see this movie. Just like Dan, who directed and wrote it, it's like a love letter to his older brother. This movie is going to, I'm telling you, you know how like Radio Flyer makes you cry your eyes out? This movie is designed, I honestly feel like my life is a simulation and this movie was made to make you cry. So I cannot wait for you to see this movie. It's absolutely a love letter to this guy's older brother.
You want to know what, man? I can't say enough about how proud I am about you. And one day you'll be in a position where you could get me into a movie, maybe about being brothers or something.
Yeah.
All right, so
That
Kori,
is so awesome.
before we wrap things up, tell me one of the best rogue adventures that you've had with your brother.
Best rogue adventure I ever had with my brother is hands down by far. We went on a road trip with my dad, and we took him all the way across the country. We didn't know what we were doing, but we made it happen, man. And I'll remember that forever.
Yeah.
And it was pretty incredible. And all joking aside, man, I could not be more proud of you. And
Thank you.
nice to meet you, Tom.
Oh, I mean-
Mark, thanks for everything. And Solano County Sheriff's Office, we are hiring.
There we go. Nice block, pal.
Hey, it's
Thanks
lovely
for your
to meet you,
service.
man.
Thanks for your service, sir.
Love
Good
you, Kori. I'll
to
talk to you later. That was great.
That
man.
was so
Thanks,
awesome, man.
You know what I just realized? Based on Mikey Winfield's summary of the Pixar formula, they just did that in the course of that interview.
Wow.
Did you notice?
Wow, it was. It started that way and it ended that way.
I was trying to get goofy with them, and then all of a sudden they started talking about brothers. This movie transcends this. This is about familial love and also about, just kind of getting over loss. You are going to shed a tear, I'm telling you right now, as you do with just about every Pixar movie, but I recommend it. Go see it.
It was a lot better than I thought, and I cried almost the entire time. So go see it.
Mike E.
Holding in tears, holding them in, holding them in, holding them in.
Yeah, I'm saying, hang in there, go see the movie. Make sure you see it with people you love or have them close, because you're going to huddle up at the end of this movie.